All right, ladies and gents, what is going on? Welcome to another live stream here. How are we all doing? I just want to give everyone a moment here to come in. Slightly late start here today on this stream. But how are we all doing? Welcome into the live stream. As you are coming in, do me a favor and just let me know if the audio and video is good. Smash up those likes. You already know the deal. Thank you all very, very much. Let's see who we got here. All good? Perfect. Thank you very, very much, guys. Thank you very, very much. Let me just make sure that I'm kind of fully situated here. Just one sec, guys. Okay, cool. Well, welcome on in, everyone. We've got Bitcoin sitting at 98,500 as we speak right now. It's been quite a it's been quite a bearish couple of weeks, and we're definitely not done by the looks of it. We could be close. We could still be very far away. I want to break down what people are kind of thinking about that and what I'm thinking about that as well. Am I being held hostage on an alien spacecraft right now? I think if I was on an alien spacecraft, I wouldn't feel like I was being held hostage. I think I would find that very cool. So I think I'm good, dude. I think I'm good. Hopefully the light is a little bit better. It's so red. It's kind of hard to get around that, but we'll rock with this. It's a little bit easier to look at. So what's going on, guys? Welcome into the live stream. Hope you're all doing good. Smash up those likes as you are coming in here. Let's get those likes above 50. You already know the deal. We've got a very, very active market ongoing right now. And before we fully kick this off, I do want to let you know that this stream is going to be running for about another 45 minutes. About another 40 minutes. And then we're going into a BroFi VIP private stream. So if you do want to get yourself inside of BroFi, there's going to be a link at the top of the description here. And in this stream, we're going to be covering a lot of the analysis that I'm kind of, going to be giving you here. But in the BroFi stream, the one that we're doing in 40 minutes from now, that's going to be one of our weekly streams. So we've got these weekly live shows where I'm going in depth on my trade setup discussions. That's happening in 40 minutes from now. So we'll be going off the public stream and into the BroFi one. If you do want to get yourself inside, it's only $100 to join. Super easy. And we've already had some pretty nice, this one was cool. There's a little bit of moon analysis, mood cycle analysis, some like weird fringe shit, but I shared it in the group anyway, and it ended up making someone some money here, which is pretty cool. So we're going to cover all of that, but let's start off with the Bitcoin price action. Welcome into the stream, everyone. Let's smash up those likes. Let's get those likes above 50 here as we kick this stream off. Welcome into the stream, everyone. We got James, Alex, Psychedelia Smith, Lloyd Griffiths. What's going on, guys? We're tired of winning, Trump. that's the sentiment we're getting from people today. Remember when Trump was telling everyone, you're going to get tired of winning. You're going to be asking Trump to slow down. Well, yeah, hasn't really gone to plan so far. It seems like a couple things have been sidetracked here. But let's start off with Bitcoin here. And let's understand what this Bitcoin chart is telling us. This is pretty damn important. We got like as clean of a retest as you could kind of ask for off this 107 level. This level was previously kind of pretty useful support for Bitcoin, stretching back quite far. Basically, the first time that we kind of used this as support after breaking up was, at the end of August. And, we're now basically like 2.5 months later, if I'm not mistaken, if my math calculation is correct. And we've used this level quite well as support, but it has ended up failing us, and it has resulted in a pretty sizable kind of rejection here off the 107 level. Now, since then, it's been a pretty quick drop down as well, and the drop has taken us down to about 99,000 here. The low sits at about 98. Now, 98 is the level of support that you guys will know I've been watching for quite some time. So this has been kind of my most well-defined chart now for a number of days, maybe a week or so. I've really been using this chart, showing you exactly where the levels of interest are for me. Obviously this 106, 107 level is a key zone of resistance. 98 has always been support. It's always been a pretty good level of support, and so I don't think it's super surprising that the price action is kind of stopping here. Welcome to the stream, Abs, saying that he's just made it into a live welcome in. Good to see you guys here in this live stream. If you are just tuning in, make sure to smash up those likes when we get those above 50 here as we kick off this live stream. We're only 13 away, only 13 more likes, so smash them up if you haven't done so already. Really do appreciate it all. Thank you all very much, ladies and gents. But bringing it back to the chart here, we do have that drop down to 98. Let's take a look at the S&P. The S&P is going to be a much more important chart to look at, in my opinion, right here. And if we go ahead and remove all of these lines, and let's go ahead and put the DGen cam on the right-hand side for Bitcoin as well while we're here, huh? Why not? Why not? Let's get the DGen cam going on the right-hand side. Now you can see the price action super, super tight. We do have some questions coming in on the BroFi VIP chat as well, so I'll be covering some of those throughout this live stream as well. We'll be going into a lot more detail on that in that private stream. So if you guys are dropping your questions in there, I will be getting to them. Just so you know, welcome GeoRider to the live stream. Good to see you here. Psychedelia Smith says liquidity grab down to 98 and then bounce. I hope. I think it makes sense. Are we rolling over or rearming? I mean, it does look pretty shit right now. It does look pretty shit. But let's stick to the S&P here. I want to cover the S&P with you guys for a second here. This is clearly what is hurting Bitcoin right now. The S&P 500 kind of started to take a little bit of a shit. And then Bitcoin did at the same time as well. Yeah, so pretty straightforward, pretty standard stuff. It's really not surprising anymore. S&P is dropping, so Bitcoin is dropping. And, this drop here started when Bitcoin was still above $100,000, but because the S&P kind of broke support, Bitcoin broke an even worse level of support. So we're still moving in tandem with the S&P, just not when the S&P is moving up. So we're kind of only correlated when it's going down, and when the S&P is going up, Bitcoin does see some sort of kind of corrections here, but nothing too crazy. The government shutdown, if I'm not mistaken, is also now officially over, and the markets don't seem to care about that either, obviously. I think there was a little bit of rumors going around that if the shutdown finishes, then actually we might start getting bullish again. But I do think that for sure we've got a pretty. I mean, look, it's not. You don't want to rely that much on kind of hard date news headline stuff. It's just not the approach that's going to win for you as a trader. Really, you want to be analyzing what's the price doing and how are people reacting to it, and is there a dissonance, basically? Is there a disconnect, between what the price is doing and what people are saying about it? And if there is a disconnect, you can usually exploit that disconnect, right? That's kind of the whole point of trading. You're kind of finding those imbalances in the market. You're expecting them to regain that balance, so you're kind of putting money in that direction. Worrying about things like government shutdowns, you're kind of just doing normie shit at that point. Please don't fall into those traps. I never expected that it would end this little weird period that, Bitcoin certainly is in, but even the stock market. Because the stock market didn't care, right? I mean, measuring back 40 days, quite a lot has happened, and things have been pretty calm, pretty normal overall, especially if you're not paying attention to the news. But if we take a look at where the S&P is right now, I mean, it's clearly just slowing down. I'm at a point now, I gotta be honest with you guys, where it's become super fucking repetitive now, talking about how, we haven't really done anything kind of, big or crazy yet. And, to put this in perspective, because I really want you guys to understand where I'm coming from here. If we take a look at this chart on the daily, and we bear in mind that kind of 98k was the level that I had drawn for quite some time, then, you know, we left our 107 support range here, and we've hit this level now in 9 days. But in those 9 days, nothing really happened. People are kind of acting like, you know, I don't know, every day, you know, we're down 50% or something crazy. But no, we just kind of traveled from one support level to another, and it took 9 days. And, you know, when we fell below 117 on this day here, it's been a month to travel down to 98. I mean, this is just a normal downtrend. You know, this is just a normal downtrend, and it's still taking shape inside of a pretty big uptrend here. You know, I still personally struggle to see why everybody is so bearish. Like, it's still, I mean, first of all, these are levels that I had outlined since we were at all-time highs. You know, so it doesn't scare me to come down to levels like this. And actually, I think the market's held on pretty well. I mean, can someone explain how Bitcoin dominance hasn't fucking shot up yet? You know, with Bitcoin falling so, you know, heavily, you know, down to 98k. It's not even that heavy, but, you know, still, it's a drop. How the hell is Bitcoin dominance still here? You know, like, look at Ethereum against Bitcoin. It's holding up so well. Now, granted, its support zone kind of starts, like, down here, so it's about to fall back into support. But, I mean, these are, you know, and I covered this on the last stream. You know, this coin literally pulled a 2.5 times gain from the high, from its low to its high. And everywhere that it got rejected, whether it was at this level here or when it got rejected at this level here, each of these rejections happened inside of obvious resistance boxes. So we got rejected up here. That was another obvious resistance box, and we're falling down to support, which is another obvious support box. Now, I don't have it drawn on this chart, but, you know, very quickly, if I do just show it to you on this side of my screen, you will be able to see those levels, right? So we bottom out over here in a, you know, obvious support level. We get rejected at an obvious resistance, but then we break out, and we get rejected at the next obvious resistance, and then we break out, and we get rejected at the next obvious resistance, and then we're pulling back into the next obvious support. So the market's fine. You know, like, it's just not doing anything, you know, unusual or wrong even. It's just normal shit. So anyway, back to the S&P then. You know, the S&P, you know, by even more of a stretch is being pretty normal right now. You know, I mean, it did rally from its low up to its current all-time high by 43% inside of about, what is this? I don't even know. Like, 7 months? Nearly, yeah, that's 7 months. You know, it took 7 months for the S&P to pull off a 42% increase. And so it's just kind of slowing down a little bit. I mean, you know, like, I don't know. It almost feels like I'm like, you know, sometimes with some people, it's like I'm just communicating to children to just calm the fuck down. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's literally just hanging out. And okay, I get it. Like, crypto's getting hit pretty bad, but how bad? It's only fallen down to a support level here. And it's got great support down at 91, and it's got even better support down at 85. I don't know. They're actually both great. Like, the support here is great. The support at 85 is great. The support at 75 is great. I don't even think we're going to hit 75. I don't think that's going to happen. But 85, you know, I think is pretty, you know, is pretty digestible. 91 to 94 is a Fibonacci retracement level. So grab your fucking bulls and make sure they're still there. That includes the ladies. It's 2025. You're allowed to have bulls too, right? And just make sure that they're still there, because we haven't even seen the significant Fibonacci level yet. So I'm sorry, but I'm just not scared. You know, like, if we start losing the 618 level, it would be a little bit of a turnoff, but even that isn't that bad, because a 32% drop puts us down at 85, and we've already had multiple 32% drops. From this high down to this low, that was a 32, and from this high down to this low, that was a 32. So we're good. You know, like, we can pull off another one of those again, and I don't think that that we're in a bad place. Sheldon D'Souza says this guy refuses to even consider that this cycle is over. Yeah, of course I refuse to consider it's over, because I don't think we've really broken market structure yet. You know, and I mean, you know, I had swarms of people, man, swarms of people. How many of you guys were around back here? This was a 7-month period here, 8-month period to break out. How many of you guys are around on this channel back here? By the way, we're at 300 viewers. If you haven't already smashed up those likes, smash them up right now. Let's get those likes up to 100. We're about 40 away. That should be pretty easy to do. Smash them up, ladies and gents. Thank you all very much. But how many of you guys were here back, you know, when Bitcoin was consolidating basically from 70K all the way down to 49 and then broke out? You know, if you guys were watching the channel back here, you're going to remember that I stayed bullish this entire fucking period. And we originally had this market structure. It was just a nice rectangular sideways box, super healthy, super clean, super digestible. And then we started breaking market structure, and then we started breaking market structure in a prolonged and big way, and I still didn't get even slightly bearish. And the reason I didn't get even slightly bearish here, it's the same reason I didn't get bearish when we did this, when we went sideways in this range. And it's because the bull market had not been disproven with any of these drops. I mean, these drops were shaking people out of the market. These drops were getting people capitulating, essentially, selling their bags, and deciding that, you know what, this was the whole rally. Like, down when we were at 15K, it was me and a couple others saying that I think we're going to hit 30 and I think we're going to hit 40. That's what I was saying. The videos are still up. Go back and watch them. So, Sheldon D'Souza, to answer your comment about me refusing to acknowledge that the cycle is over, I'm only putting forward the same line of thinking, the same methodical approach to this market that I always have. And that I've always maintained, and that's kept me in this market in profit the whole time. Yeah? Most people have gotten absolutely smacked and destroyed by this market. Morning Staple says I'm a self-proclaimed god. This is the skill gap in crypto, ladies and gents. You've got a dude here saying that the trend is up, so I stuck with the trend and I made money. And now this dude's calling me a self-proclaimed god. Look at how low the standards are. Look at how fucking low the standards are. I'm not even that good. That's the crazy part. Like, you guys who think this is impressive are just terrible. I'm not even that good. I'm not. I just stuck with the trend. I kept of where traders are in this space right now. You guys need BroFi. You guys need BroFi. You need the deconstructed, reconstructed approach here. We're going to deconstruct your approach to the market and we're going to reconstruct it. We're going to weather the storms together, which is what we're doing right now inside of BroFi VIP. That chat is lit up. We've got incredible action over there, and we've got our weekly show starting in 20 minutes. This live stream ends in 20 minutes, and we're jumping into that BroFi stream. It's $100 to get yourself inside, and you're not paying any renewals until we get out of early access. And we just released part of Module 3. Module 3 of our comprehensive analysis and trading course. We're covering in-depth technical analysis in that course so that you can download the knowledge of my brain into yours. That's already up right now. When you join here right now, you'll be able to get access to that. You guys need BroFi. You guys need a ground-up change to your approach in this game. If you think I'm anything like a god for sticking to this market, you know, while it was in an uptrend. And I'm only putting forward the same line of thinking right now. All I'm saying is that the market has pulled back 22%. And I think it can tolerate, easily, it can tolerate a 32% drop. Easily. So, is there a lot more to go? Potentially. But there's tons of support, a little bit lower than where we are right now. And sentiment is so bad that we might not have to get as low as 85. Right? Ultimately, what the market needs right now, by the looks of it, is a little bit of capitulation. And if the market is able to produce that capitulation, that's probably when we're going to see a really steep, really quick drop, potentially down to some very interesting levels. Now, I don't want to see Bitcoin kind of grinding its way down to 91. I mean, if it does, it's fine, whatever. But if it doesn't, And if it makes a quick move down instead, we're 10 likes away from 100, by the way. Smash them up. Thank you all very much. If it doesn't, and if it moves down quickly, this is your ideal situation because you get to start printing wicks that look a little bit like this, or wicks that look a little bit like this, or reaction rallies that look a little bit like this. And if we can pull something like that off right here, here's how it would look. It would look something a little bit like this, and it would be perfect. It would reclaim the key levels. It would test our support. It would, you know, wick people out. A lot of longs would get... See, one of the problems I've noticed here, and it seems like a lot of people are talking about this, is that everybody's going long all the fucking time. Because even though things do look scary, the money kind of knows that this market has to go up. And there's tons of things that go in its favor, right? I mean, it was just today that Solana, the Solana Foundation or whatever, announced that cash... What the fuck? Can we pretend that didn't happen, chat? Can we pretend that I didn't do that? I'm sorry. That was that caught me off guard. Okay, where was I? The Solana Foundation put out a tweet saying that the Cash App, I'm pretty sure it was Cash App. I heard that they have like 50 million monthly users. I have no idea, but 50 million something users or whatever. These dudes are putting out, see you at the BroFi stream, see you later, Alex, good to see you there. These guys are putting out that they're handling USDC transactions now on Cash App in the United States. Someone's gonna clip that shit. And you're very welcome to go for it. But Cash App, USDC, they're using the Solana network to send that USDC. And we've already, I'm pretty sure there was Venmo the other day. There's obviously, you know, Chase, one of the biggest banks in the US, kind of pushing this this whole like crypto loan stuff. So, you know, there's definitely movement here going on right now. And yeah, so I think that, you know, crypto is kind of, like I said, you know, for me, this is about looking at where the market is and then looking at where sentiment is. And if there's a big disconnect, there might be some money to kind of make from that disconnect, a kind of thing that we can exploit. So that's something that I think is pretty important. Let's go through a couple of questions here, and then we're going to go back through the charts. We're going to look at some altcoins. We're going to probably take a look at some news as well. But let's see what we got here. S&P is overpriced. This guy doesn't know finance. I mean, it is stretched, but, you know, I think it's being carried by, you know, the bigger stocks, and, you know, I don't see that ending anytime soon. Although, there's a big drop today, and I don't really know why. I can't say there's a big drop, but some coins, some stocks have broken, like, some semblance of market structure here. So, it's nothing crazy. I think it's all very recoverable, but, yeah, not sure exactly why. I don't think, it doesn't even matter, really. Like, look at NVIDIA right here. It's just, like, you know, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. I'm really not too worried about it. Bill Brower says, thanks for keeping us sane. Hell yeah, dude. That's what I'm here for, man. That's what I'm here for. Government shutdown opens and the whole market crashes. The most bearish sentiment. Possibly. But like I said, I don't think the shutdown had much impact on this. One of our commenters here says, this market, I was up 80,000 this year, and then one bad trade, and I lost it all. Fuck me. That wasn't one bad trade. That was one terrible trade, dude. Fucking hell. There is no good reason for ever losing all of your money on one trade, dude. You are gambling, and you would have lost it anyway, given enough time. And if you do it again, I promise you'll lose it all again, dude. Don't fucking gamble. Don't gamble. Stop gambling. All right, what we got here? Jeff says they all bought the top and they're in the red. Bitter. I get it, right? A lot of people are in the red and they're bitter, but they think that this is going to affect the outlook of the market. No. You know, like, you're not that important. And if you kind of try and make yourself important by saying, oh, but I lost a lot of money, so the market should do X, Y, Z now, you know, you're gonna... You know, you're going to just keep suffering. It's going to be really bad. You know, you may as well. A lot of people should just consider leaving, honestly. I always say that. You know, a lot of people, most people aren't cut out for this game. You're better off leaving so you don't keep on losing money. You know what I'm saying? But if you really want to be, you know, obsessed about it, then yeah, you got to take the right approach. You got to open up some books. You got to start studying a little bit. You got to keep a real trading journal yourself. That stuff is really, really important. But let's see what else we got here. If you can't handle retracements to support, you shouldn't be in the markets. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying, bro. Jafar says, you're a very good man. I left crypto last bull market. When you left, I didn't leave. So please don't waste your energy and do what you do, bro. Thank you very much, but I never left. Can't wait to lose more money. All right. All right. Yeah, yeah. Jake says, love the stop gambling comment. Hell yeah, dude. I mean, you know, if you want to gamble, go to a fucking casino, you know, but I mean, out here in crypto, like, you can actually systematically make money. It is possible. A lot of people do it. You know, and there is methodology to this. There's systems to this. So, you know, there's absolutely no good reason that any of you guys should be gambling here in crypto. If you want to gamble, then you take that fucking energy to the casino, please. You will. I promise you'll actually do a lot better if you gamble in a casino. You will. You do, because you'll lose your money slower. You'll lose your money slower, and you'll scratch the same degenerate itch that you have to gamble. So, if you want to gamble, go gamble. If you want to trade crypto, trade properly. You know, that's important. That's really, really important. But let's take a look through the market here. So, I want to look at some of the coins that I'm interested in. Let's get that degen cam back on here for Bitcoin on the 1 minute. Let's take a look at what Bitcoin's doing here on this small time frame. It's just kind of, it looks like it could even be getting ready for another big drop down here. So we'll have to just kind of keep watching this to see how this might play out. After all this manipulation, I don't think I ever want to open a long in my life in crypto anymore. Honestly, I feel similar, bro. I get it, man. I really get it. I really get it. It's not going to be like this forever. It's not going to be like this forever. There is, like, basically nobody in crypto right now, right? So there is, like, no fresh liquidity. When that fresh liquidity starts coming in, you don't get as horrible market manipulation because there's just more, like, genuine trending and movement. So, you know, we obviously don't have that yet, but, you know, I think we will get that at some point, and that is going to make these markets a lot easier to trade, including for long positions. That said, it's not impossible to trade. It's not impossible to trade. There are at least a few people inside of BroFi that have been going short, specifically on this rip up, and that have been profiting from this move down, including one of our very trusted analysts. We call them BroFi certified. There are a couple people inside of the group that have ridden this down and made some really, really nice profits. So it's not like you can't trade this. I personally didn't want to take those trades. I felt that they were a little bit too risky for me, but a lot of people inside of BroFi didn't feel that way, and good for them. They made the profits. That's great to see. You know, so it's definitely, you know, doable to keep trading here, but I mean, it's hard. It is hard. It's harder than it usually is. I'll definitely say that. But so that's Bitcoin on the right-hand side, and let's take a look at some of the altcoins now. So Litecoin hanging on against Bitcoin pretty well. Solana is now down at its support level here, and it can drop a little bit more. I can tolerate quite a bit as far as deviations. So, you know, another 10, 15, even 20% down isn't really going to scare me too much, but I don't really want to see it dropping much more than that, and ideally it should start bouncing kind of nowish. But, I mean, we know we're not going to get that if the stock market is strong. So, you know, I think we're just going to have to keep on looking at that and kind of see what's going on there. That's why I also want to take a look at if there's anything kind of cooking on Bloomberg right now as far as kind of interesting news articles that might be worth highlighting here. So I'll just take a look at that and see if it's worth kind of highlighting anything for you guys here. Yeah, this is probably a good one here. Can I? Yes, okay, we've got this. So what we're seeing here and why we're seeing it, because the weakness in crypto right now is directly tied to the stock market, always is. And so the stock market hasn't done so well today. I think that's kind of the main reason Bitcoin dipped below 100 today. But let's see what it's saying here. So Wall Street traders bracing for an economic data deluge after the US shutdown ended drove stocks and bonds lower on concern over whether the reports will be... Is it me not reading that properly, or is this written poorly? I don't know, but basically reports were not being released because of the shutdown, and that's what they're attributing the drop to. With optimism about the reopening priced in... Okay, so the government reopen was apparently priced in, according to these guys here. Concern about valuations emerged, prompting a sell-off in high-flying tech. These guys have no idea what the fuck they're saying. They clearly don't. Let's see if there's anything a little bit more relevant to us. Currently, traders are pricing in about even odds the Fed will cut rates in December. Jerome Powell said last month that a reduction is not a foregone conclusion, with the decision to be premised on incoming information. Some traders may be concerned that the omission of key data due to the shutdown may bolster arguments for officials to stand pat. I don't know what that means, but I'm guessing it means that they don't lower the rates. With the flow of releases resuming only gradually, traders are left with continued data void, which means price action could be driven more by sentiment and positioning than by hard data. So if that's the case, and I don't know if it fully is, because this just sounds like a bunch of fucking word salad from someone that has a super rudimentary understanding of how markets work, but if that's the case, then I think that we're probably just seeing that kind of equilibrium play out right now a little bit more, where the stock market is kind of just trying to figure itself out before, you know, resuming track. And again, I mean, that's the story that the chart is telling us. That's something that we identified pretty early on here in this live stream. I don't really do RSI support kind of analysis, Bill. I don't actually believe in it, so I won't look at that today. Let's see what else we got here. So noticeable rotation has occurred in stocks with traders moving out of high growth names and back into defensive and value oriented sectors. Okay, so I mean, we literally see something like this happening every couple of weeks. Higher quality cyclicals are catching a bid as investors position for a slower movement, for a slower but steady economic environment where earnings visibility matters more than hyper growth narratives. I mean, even by this, the Magnificent Seven will keep rallying. They're saying it's lost a little bit of momentum here. We've seen how the loss of momentum kind of affected these stocks right after Trump was elected. So if we're going to see something a little bit more drawn out than that, we could definitely see a pretty steep, well, I can't call it steep, but it would be a continued kind of, you know, downward move here. But again, I mean, that's contingent on innovation, and you know, as soon as a new LLM or whatever gets dropped, you end up seeing big moves up. So market odds of another Fed rate cut in December have dropped from a near certainty before the last Fed meeting. Probably look at things like Polymarket to see what's going on there. But let's see if Twitter's saying anything interesting today. Twitter's been so lit lately, ladies and gents. It's been crazy. Twitter's been insane. But let's go ahead and take a look at what the trading list here is saying, and more of nothing really. I can't believe there's so much shit posting right now. It's just because there's absolutely nobody interested. Muro says, finally swept that June low. At least some alts should bounce here while Bitcoin reacts. I'm going to go ahead and agree with that sentiment, especially if we are sweeping recent lows, or I'm sorry, historic lows. That's actually a pretty good thing for Bitcoin, because that kind of starts to, I don't know, like iron out that deviation and almost like make it happen. You know, if we are going to get a deviation, then in a sense, you know, the sooner the better, right? So let's see if it did actually wipe that June low. It kind of looks like it did. Yeah, it did. It did, yeah. So the June low comes in at 98,230, and our wick was about $200 lower than that today. So we did sweep that low. Yeah, that is a good thing, especially the fact that the market is holding on right now. No, I mean, it is holding on in a way that looks like it's just gonna, you know, roll over here. But, you know, anything below this is going to be a good kind of liquidity clear. That doesn't mean that Bitcoin is going to be now poised to rally up, but it definitely starts to open up that possibility again. And I do have to say that, you know, obviously the lower we drop, the more that likelihood of a bounce is going to get. It's going to feel the opposite for a lot of people, and that's where, you know, you really go wrong. Obviously, timing is everything, right? Because if you try and take like a balls to the wall long now, and then it dips again, then you didn't really get the timing part right, and you'll still get fucked. But if you're taking a kind of more methodical approach here, you know, and you're understanding that, you know, the more we drop without a kind of real rally, the more likely it is that we have to perform some sort of reaction rally. You know, if you take that kind of perspective, then you'll kind of just get more bullish the lower we go, which is ideally what you want, right? I mean, like, I wasn't bearish when we were at the top here. I thought we were going to break out, so I should have been bearish up here. But as we're dropping down, I'm going to get more bullish, because naturally you want to buy when the prices are low and then sell them when they're high. So yeah, I think that's important. And I wouldn't have sold up here anyway. I've been holding this shit since it was like $3,000, you know, so you know, I mean, like a 20% drop, and it doesn't even matter what my entry was, frankly. But, you know, the fact that I did enter there just makes it a little bit easier to stick to the market. I understand a lot of people don't have that, you know, like, unique advantage going behind them at the moment. But again, you know, if you think that changes how the market might move, you are sourly mistaken, my friend. That is not how the markets work. So, you know, that's something we've got to be able to keep in mind here. Let's take a look at some of the other altcoins. So Cardano against BTC holding on pretty well overall. Yeah, Fear and Greed is absolutely shot. It's doing terribly right now. Fear and Greed sitting at 15. It's going to update in 4 hours. It's probably going to be a tiny bit lower. It's been pretty low for a while now. I mean, we look at this on the year, and I mean, shit, we can spend quite a while down in low fear levels like this, but you know, usually if we do zoom out, you know, there is some sunshine when we see sentiment getting this weak. So I do think we're going to see that here as well. But there is Bitcoin potentially continuing the downtrend right here as we approach the hourly close. So this is definitely very, very interesting. I am going to be wrapping up the stream here, though. If you do have any final questions, I'll be taking your questions now. And I'll see you guys on the other side in that BroFi stream. We're going to be covering in depth the kind of positions that I'm already building in the market and that I'm going to be continuing to take on. I'm going to be covering some potential leverage trades if I see them as well. That's going to be covered inside our BroFi stream. And just a general kind of update on where I'm at in terms of my positions and what I plan on doing. That's all happening right here in about 5 minutes in the BroFi stream. So if you do want to get yourself inside, that's going to be the link to join right now. It'll take, I mean, joining here will take you like a minute. It's super quick to join, and it's $100. It's $100 to join in pre-launch. While we're in pre-launch, we're not charging you for renewals, and you're getting our weekly shows right here. So I'm gonna see you guys on the other side. I'm probably gonna be jumping off here if we don't have any questions. My prediction for Bitcoin today. I mean, you know, you know, you should watch the live stream. try watching the live stream. Who else is in it? I mean, you know, it's I mean, how do I tell? I mean, if I told you the names, you wouldn't know them, would you? But no, it's good. I mean, it's a couple of the insiders that I trade with, and members. So it's good. It's really good. It's active. There are profits being made right now, and like I said, the technical analysis part of our course, kind of deconstructing, reconstructing your approach to analysis and trading, that technical analysis content has already dropped as of a few hours ago. So we're continuing to build out that library. We're getting close to the next price increase here. Because that library is being built out and the prices will be going up. If you join now, you're going to be locked in for a full year, but you're not paying renewals anyway until we're out of pre-launch, which is really, really cool. So definitely well worth getting inside now. But with that, guys, I am probably going to be jumping off here. Looks like we don't have many questions. Let me just double check, make sure I didn't miss anything here. Any insight on XRP? Yeah, let's take a quick look at XRP. I didn't actually look at XRP. So XRP against Bitcoin, holding on very well. XRP against the dollar, also fine. I don't know, we saw some comments about like bad XRP price movement in this live chat, but I don't personally see that. Yeah, I think that's kind of me done here. So thank you all very much for tuning in. You guys know what to do. Smash up those likes, subscribe, tick the bell, do all that good stuff. We'll see you all in the next live stream here. And yeah,